Hare Krishna. So, most welcome again from the now. This just shared a
Hare
link on the group. So, this is an app to practice Sandhi. So, you can explore it. Maybe at the end of the class today, I'll show it to you. Um, okay, so we can move with the sutras. So, we had done until Sutra 53rd. Moving ahead, Sutra 54. I. Sutra 54 says that if we have A Rama followed by any Sarveshwara, then that A Rama turns into I. It turns into I. Uh, for example, let's say Krishna Utkarshaha. So Krishna Utkarshaha. Here we have A at the end of Krishna, and Utkarsha begins with the Sarveshwara. Any Sarveshwara. So this A would turn into I. So we get Krishna and then Utkarsha. So while pronouncing this, we'll pronounce it combinedly actually. So we will pronounce it like Krishna Yutkarsha. Yutkarsha. So just a tip for the pronunciation part, whenever any word ends with a Vishnu Jana, a consonant, and the next letter, the next word begins with a Sarveshwara, then the pronunciation should be combinedly done. So in this case, it should be Krishna Yutkarsha. Yutkarsha. Just like we pronounce this as Ityadi, Ityadi. Although there are two words, but we pronounce it combinedly. Ityadi, Ityadi. So, so Krishna Utkarsha becomes Krishna Yutkarsha. More examples could be Te Ime. So, what would be the answer here? A becomes I, so we get Ta Yime, you know, Ta Yime, and so on. So that was the first part of the sutra. Then the second part of the sutra says that if we have I followed by any Sarveshwara, then that I would turn into I. I would turn into I. For example, mm, uh, like just a random one, Rai, uh, so Aishwarya. So I is there, like in Rai. Don't mistake it to be just E Rama. I mean, sometimes devotees or students they do take it like just E Rama. It's both I. So this is how it's written in Roman in English. Similarly here, it's not just it's I. So this I followed by a Sarveshwara and it's I here. That's not an issue. So the I would turn into I. So we get Ra Yaishwarya. The following Sarveshwara would remain as it is. So Ra Yaishwarya. I becomes I. And so on. So Jiva Goswami gives these examples. Yeah, he gives Krishna Utkarshaha, which we discussed. Then Yamuna Yai Arghaha. So Yamuna Ya Yargha. I becomes I. Gopyai Asanam becomes Gopya Yasanam. I becomes I again. Okay. A I. Then O of Au Av. The next sutra is O of Au Av. So when O, okay, I'll just show it to you. So two parts for this sutra again. First part says that if we have O, the letter O followed by any Sarveshwara, then O would turn into Av. O would turn into Av. For example, let's say Vishnu Iha. Vishnu Iha. So the O would turn into Av, so it would become Vishnu Iha. Vishnu Iha. And so on. The second part of the sutra says that if we have Au followed by any Sarveshwara, then that Au would turn into Av. That Au would turn into Av. For example, let's say Vishnu. Okay. For example, Kalau Asmin. Kalau Asmin. So Au and Sarveshwara following. So that Au turns into Av. So we get Kalab Asmin. We get Kalab Asmin. And so on. Yeah, so that was Sutra 54 and 55. Okay, I hope that is clear. So anything here to ask or discuss? 54 and 55. So Jiva Goswami also gives examples here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare.
50 and 54b. I can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
54b. AI plus Sarveshwara.
I'm sorry.
I'm confused with the 54b.
I'm sorry, Mataji, it's not properly audible. Okay, maybe you wrote in the chat box. 54B, okay. 54B. So 54B says if we have I Rama, the letter I, A, I, O, and O. So I, if followed by a Sarveshwara, so I becomes I. This A and Ya Rama. I. That's also, we have this example, Rai and Aishwarya, and Jiva Goswami takes this example like Gopyai Asanam. So Gopyai ends with I, and we have this word Asanam here. So I becomes I. I becomes I. Yeah. Just that much. I turns into I when a Sarveshwara is following. That's all. Okay. Then this Sandhi is used in scriptures a lot. Is used.
Which one true?
Both of these, 54 and 55.
Okay.
Like for example, this kalavasmin yoge janaha. So manda sumanda, that one. So kalavasmin. So kalau becomes kalav and asmin. And like that. Sutra 56. E obhyam asya haro Vishnu padante. Now, Sutra 56 is kind of an exception to 54a and 55a. Sutra 56 says that if there is any word uh, ending with either a or o rama, and if a rama is following, okay, either a or o at the first place, followed by a rama at the second place, then what happens is now in 54a, what happened? A rama would turn into I. And in 55a, what happened? O Rama turned into Av when any Sarveshwara follows. But in 56, this is exceptional. So in this case, A or O Rama would remain as they are. Now the following A Rama would get deleted and will get an apostrophe in place of the letter A. In Devanagari, it's the Avagraha. You know, they make it like S if you have read the Devanagari Lipi. For example, let's say uh, te atra. Just a random example. Te atra. So te ends with a. Atra begins with a. Now the general rule was 54 rule, Sutra 54, as per which a Rama would have become I. But this sutra is an exception, 56. So in this case, we will rather delete the a of atra and put an apostrophe mark here, like this. Tetra. In Devanagari, it is written like the 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 apostrophe here, like you can see here, Shishyaste hum. So in English, it is the apostrophe mark, and here in Devanagari, it is this avagraha symbol. It looks like S. Another example could be so aham. This is not the English, so this is Sanskrit, so which means key. So aham o Rama at the first place, followed by a. So the a. Now general rule was 55a, by which O followed by a Sarveshwara, so O would turn into Av. But here, so this O of so will remain as it is, and the A of Aham will get deleted and will get an apostrophe like this. So very simple rule, but this is also very commonly used rule. Eobhyamasya haro Vishnu padante. Okay, then that was an easy one actually. Now, Sutra 57, Ayadinam ya vayor va.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhu. Ayadinam ya vayor va. In Sutra 54 and 55, we saw four changes. What were they? Let me just
So, sorry, just to clarify, I'm asking about the meaning exactly of Vishnu Padante and where that applies. Is that just nouns? Is that also verbs? Is it in the middle of a samas? Can you just clarify this point a little bit also, and
Sure.
why it doesn't apply, if an example for Kalavasmin?
Okay. I didn't purposefully, touch that point, but that's fine. In Panini grammar, they just call it Padam, and in Harinamamrit Vyakaranam, Jiva Goswami calls it Vishnu Padam. So what's a Padam? What's a Vishnu Padam? So we know in Sanskrit, we have the root words like in nouns, nominal, root words. Let's take the word Rama, and we put different suffixes, and then we get different forms like Rama, Ramu, Rama, Ramam, and so on. So when we so so this root word is called Prakriti, and the suffixes are called Pratyaya, right? Root words are the stem, the nominal stem, the stem word, root words. Uh, those could be nouns or verbs. So when we have Prakriti and Pratyaya together, and when we get the final declined form, after adding the suffix into the root word, it could be a noun, it could be a verb. So that final word is called a Padam or a Vishnu Padam. So now what is Vishnu Padante? So Vishnu Padasya Ante Sthitaha Yah. So that letter which is situated at the end of a Vishnu Pada. At the end of a Vishnu Pada. For example, like Kalau. Now Kalau is a Vishnu Pada. Kalau is a proper word, a declined word. What is the last letter here in Kalau? It's the letter Au. So in that sense, Vishnu Padante. Or Eobhyam Asya Haro Vishnu Padante, if you want to say that one. So let's say Nare Agra, just a random one. So Nare is a Vishnu Pada. And what is Vishnu Padanta here? That's the letter A Rama. So this is what it means, Vishnu Padante. Is that fine, Prabhu?
Yes, that's very clear. One more question is, what about in the middle of a compound in samas? Does this Eobhyamasyaharo apply to the first in a pair of compounds?
Actually, when we say a compound, so a samasa is basically ekapadatvarambhe. We take many padas and make it into one pada, one word. So now when we see a samasa, it could be any samasa. So now that samasa word comprised of many different padas, many different words in it. So altogether now it is considered a one single pada. So we can't do it inside a samasa now. This Eobhyamasya Hara Vishnu Padanta. Because samasa means ekpadatva.
Okay, that's very clear.
Yeah. Ekpadatva is very clear. Ekpadatva means samasa is ekpada now. It has become ekpada, one single word. Like just more light on that. Ramasya. Okay, that's not our version. Ramaha yasya Ishvara saha, so becomes Rameshwara. So now we have two words here, Rama and Ishvara. So it has become a single word by compounding. So Rameshwara is the final word. So we can't do things inside it. Okay. So I was going to show you this one. That now in 54th and 55th Sutra, A Rama turned into I, O Rama turned into Av, I Rama turned into I, and Au turned into Av, right? This is what we got in those two sutras. If you see the endings of these I, and all of these four are ending with either Ya Rama or Va Rama. Now this Sutra 57 says Ayadinam Ya Vayorva. That once we have substituted A, O, I, and Au with I, Av, I, and Av respectively. So optionally, the last letter of the substituted forms would be deleted. So optionally, this Ya and Va Ramas would be deleted. So going back to the examples. So Krishna Utkarshaha, once A became I, and now it has become I. So optionally, we can remove the Ya Rama from there. So it will be Krishna Utkarshaha optionally. Krishna Utkarsha. Krishna Utkarsha. This Te Ime became Tai Ime, T-A-Y, Tai and Ime. And optionally, the Ya Rama will be deleted, so it would be Ta Ime. Both of the forms are right. And this Ta Ime is actually from Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. Ta Ime Vastita Yudhe Pranang Vadhanani Cha Ityadi. Then here, Rai, the I became I, so optionally, the Ya Rama would be deleted, so it would be Ra and Aishwarya. Then this one, Vishnu, Iha, O became Av. So, yeah, so Varama would be deleted optionally. So we get Vishnu, Iha. Vishnu, Iha. Same here, Kala Asmi. So, Va would be deleted optionally. So, Kala Asmi. When we say optionally, that means both the forms, either of the forms are right, or both the forms are right. So, Kala Asmi. Now, once we have deleted the last letters of the substituted parts, then the next sutra says, Tesham na sandhir nityam. Words that have lost their ya or va ramas do not undergo further sandhi. Because if you see, let's say this example, taime. Now, we can actually apply Advai Midvai A sutra here, right? Like Parama and Ishvara became Parameshvara, and so on. So we can apply further Advai Midvai A here because Ta ends with A and Ime begins with E. So Advai Midvai A. So it could become Teme like this. But now, if we do like this, then it would be very difficult to trace the original words. It would really become a mess. So to block that, to restrict that, Jiva Goswami says, Tesham na sandhya nityam, that once Ya Rama or the Va Rama is deleted, there is no further sandhi done. So we just get the space ime. The ime. That's all. Not the ime. And no sandhi is done for. Okay. So that was Sutra 57 and 58. Sutra 59. O Ramantanam Anantanam Shavyayanam Sarveshware. The translation says avyayas, indeclinable words that end in orama or that are anantas. What are the anantas, by the way? Going back to the Sangya Sutras, what are the ananta letters?
A, I, U, Anantaha. Was it?
Right. A, I, U, ananta. So avyayas that end in orama or that are anantas do not undergo sandhi when a sarveshwara follows. So avyayas are the words. There are, like in nouns, we have nouns. So there are four divisions, we can say, like as per the genders, like masculine, feminine, neuter. So we know the three. And the fourth kind is the avyaya. The avyaya kind of words. So avyaya words are those words which remain as they are always. They do not change their form at any point of time. Words like cha, iha, what else? He, all such words could be tatha. So there is a full list of avyaya words. We'll share when we come to the next chapter. So all these words you will not see somewhere like cha, like cham. You won't see cha like chaha or chene, something like that. No, you will always see cha like cha. No other forms for cha and all such avyaya words. So the sutra is saying that there are certain words which end with o rama, which are avyaya. So there is a list here given here. I have highlighted it. Atho, aho, aho, utaho, o, no, bho, angho, and ho. All these words are ending with o rama and they all are avyayas. These are the 9 primary avyayas which are ending with o rama. So such words, and then the second kind is, so when such words they are followed by any sarveshwara, so there will be no sandhi for them. So this is a prohibitive sutra. It prohibits, it restricts, pratishedha sutra. It restricts the application of sutra 55. So basically, the general rule was that O Rama becomes Av if followed by any Sarveshwara, right? O Av. But this sutra is restricting it. So no Upendraha, so it remains no Upendra. So that is the one part. Second part of the sutra says that the Ananta Avyayas. So now there are the Ananta Avyayas. What are Ananta Avyayas? Anantas are the 6 letters A, A, E, E, U, and U. Now, normally they are just letters, and so on. But when they are also containing certain meanings with them, when they are avyaya. So they are although letters, but they are also words. A letter could be a word. A word could be a sentence, right? It's not that we need to have many padas or many words to form a sentence. Even a single word could form a sentence, right? So, and here even a single letter could form a word. So these 6 letters are also words when they are avyayas in different meanings. What are the different meanings they convey? So Jiva Goswami gives some explanation here. The anantas, which are avyayas, headed by a rama, are used in various senses, like in the senses of addressing and so forth. So the first one, the avyaya a, just the letter a, is used in the sense of addressing, sambodhana, vocative. For example, a ananta, o ananta. This a stands for like sambodhana, calling someone. So when such ananta avyayas are used and there is a sarveshwara following, then also no sandhi will be done. Although here the Dashavatar Ekatmake Militva Trivikrama Sandhi, the very first sandhi should be applicable, but it's restricted. No sandhi should be done in such usage. Then for the long A, Trivikrama A, it's used in the sense of remembrance, smarana. Example, A, evam achyut leela. Ah, I mean, in the sense of remembrance, Achyuta's pastime is in this way. So this is just a random translation. Achyuta's pastimes, but this is more like a feeling about Lord Krishna's pastimes. So this is remembrance. Then Vamana E is used in the sense of reproach, bhatsana. E, Achyutam na bhajasi, which means shame on you, you don't worship Achyuta. So reproach, bhatsana. Then the long Trivikrama E is used in the sense of filling up a sentence, Vakpurana. This is just filling up sentences, doesn't have any actual meaning. Idrisha Sansara, so Idrisha Sansara, well, the material world is like this. So just filling up the sentence. Then Vamana U is used in the sense of humble entreaty, Amantrana. U Achyuta, please come, O Achyuta. Just the letter U, this Ananta Avyaya, means invitation, inviting. And the last one, the Trivikrama U, is used in the sense of pratishedha, prohibition. So, U upasannam mam tejasi. Don't abandon me who have come near. So these are the different usages of the Ananta Avyayas. So if we have the Avyayas words ending with Orama, or if we have such Ananta Avyayas and Sarveshwaras following, then no Sandhi would be done. So this sutra is Pratishedha Sutra, which is prohibiting, restricting the application of previously said rules, the general rules. So that was it for this sutra. You can read more in the commentaries. It goes on explaining something more about the Ananta Avyayas, their usages, ityadi. Okay. Sutra 60th says, Idu detam dvivachanasya mani vadi varcha. An E, U, or A, so that's Trivikrama E, Trivikrama U, and A is of course Trivikrama, that belongs to Vivachana does not undergo Sandhi when a Sarveshwara follows. Now there are words which are in dual case, Dvivachana, ending with either Trivikrama E, Trivikrama U, or A Rama. So if such words ending with such letters in dual case are followed by any Sarveshwaras, then Sandhi won't be done. No Sandhi would be done. In the next chapter, when we will start declining the nouns, we'll come to see the words ending with Trivikrama E, Trivikrama U, or Era. For example, Hari, Atra. So Hari ends with the long E, and it's in dual case. And Atra is there, so no Sandhis are done in these examples because of this rule. But Manivadi Varjam. The Manivadis are an exception to this rule. So basically, this rule is itself an exception to the general rules. And then there is an exception to the exception. The first part here, this is already an exception to the Sandhi rules which we have already studied before. So, but the following sentence here, which is part of a rule here, this is exception to the exception. It says that, but the Manivadis, a group of words, there we can apply Sandhi even though they are in dual case. So examples are given here like Mani plus Iva. So Mani Iva. So these are all in dual case, Dvivachana, but still Sandhis are done here because it's mentioned here. We just need to follow it. Mani Iva, Dampati Iva, and so on. Yeah, so here we complete the Sarveshwara Sandhi section. Okay, anything here? I forwarded the homework for today's Sandhis in the group. You can just take a look here. So the first one is for 54 and 55. 54, 55, Sutra number, and 54, 5, and also 50, 57. 54, 55, and 57. So for that, you practice the first sheet or first image I have sent. And the second one is for Sutra 56. So I'll just show you the app which I shared the link for. If there's no question, let me just join. So it's a very useful app, and you can simply download it. It's available for both Android and those who use the Apple iPhones. So this is the app, Sandhi app. So once I hope, yeah, I think everyone can see this. So again, so this is the logo, Sandhi logo, like in the middle line, the row, Sandhi. You click here, and then you will see such interface. So 3 Vishaya Pravesh introduction lessons and exercises. You can directly go to the exercises part, and there are levels: basic, intermediate, advanced. Just click on the basic one. Start from the basic. So now this is like made up on the base of Panini system. You know, so like those who studied without sutras and all. So a different pattern, but still we can practice. So Swara means Sarveshwara Sandhis. Then the second is Vyanjanam, so that's the Vishnujana Sandhis, which we have not studied yet. And the Visarga Sandhis, which are the Vishnu Sarga Sandhis. So we have just done the first one. So you can just click on them one by one because we have done all of them, and you can practice it. Let's say we click on the first one. It's in Devanagari. I don't think we have it in Roman. So yeah, so Guru and Adesha. So 4 options given. Click the right one and move ahead like that. So okay, what could be the answer here for this one? Okay. So anyone here? What do you think? Which one is right? If you're having issue opening up the link, just type on your Play Store Sandhi, and yeah, anyone here? The right one, which
Third one, Prabhu, Guruvadesh.
yeah, it's the third one. It is the third one actually. So Gurvadesha, who becomes Va. So like that. Then the next one. Now this is joining sandhi. If you see below, there is an option which says split sandhi, right? So if you click there, split sandhi, then again you open any of them. Now you will have to split up the sandhis. Both ways you can practice. So Pachat Tvodanam. What do you think? Which is the right option here, right answer? Anyone? Okay, this is not that difficult. Okay, I'll tell. This is
Is it first one?
no,
Second.
second one is correct. Who becomes one? So take your time. You can just practice this in your self-study time. Don't go on the definitions sangyas given here, like and sandhi and this and that. Just click randomly or maybe in sequence and just keep doing the sandhis. We have done all the examples, all these concepts of Sarveshwara Sandhi, Swara Sandhi. Yeah, that was it. And of course, Prabhupada's Bhagavatam and all are there. Cross-checking also you can done from the synonyms. So we'll resume tomorrow if nothing else is there, and we'll move ahead with the Vishnu Jana Sandhi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Hare.
Krishna Prabhu, धन्यवाद.
Hare Krishna.
हरि बोल, धन्यवाद मैडम.